Welcome. Fantasy Bros Before Pros podcast. What's today's date?
17th.
The 17th. Did you hear that voice? Guess who's back?
July 17th.
July 17th. Elvis, how are you, buddy?
I am doing great. How about yourself?
I'm great. We're also joined again by Faraz from Upper Hand Fantasy. Faraz, what's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
What's up, man? What is this, 2 podcasts in a row?
It's 2 in a row. Are you becoming a bro, or are you just a friend of the pod?
Man, like, if I could become a bro, I mean, I've always wanted to become a bro.
Hey, listen, you know what? I mean, I don't know if I have the overruling, what is it? I guess vote, but I'm
He's got my vote.
All right, hey, you got 2 votes over here.
And there's only 2 of us anyway.
3 fantasy bros.
That's it, man. And 3 the hard way. Hey, you know what else?
You guys take your time. You guys take your time and make this decision.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We'll talk to the board. We'll figure out what's going on, and we'll see what happens. I wanted to bring something up though before we talk about fantasy and everything else. I actually found out that there's another Fantasy Bros podcast.
Really?
Yes, Elvis. And what I was afraid of was, damn, we didn't do our research, and we didn't look to see if someone else thought of it. But guess who thought of it first? We did.
Of course.
So, Fantasy Bros podcast, whatever. Got nothing against you, but change that damn name already. Jesus Christ, man. Holy cow. I mean, I know it's not the same thing, and you know what? The worst part is that they started later. They probably have more followers, I think, by a lot, when I looked at their Twitter. But, damn, it kind of sucks to have your idea, Well, they didn't steal the idea. They just came up with the same idea.
Yeah.
They didn't see us.
Oh, you don't know that.
Oh, so maybe they saw...
All that matters is if you guys do it better.
All right, well, there you go. I'll take that.
Makes sense.
If you do it better, there's only one fantasy football bros.
Hey, that's it. Hey, all right, Faraz, man. See, that's it. You know what? That's only gonna help your induction into the fraternity of bros. It's just a lot of drinking, honestly, more than anything. That's I think
you can drink.
If you
can become a bro.
I gotta try a couple beers before I can get inducted.
Nice. Yeah, I think you have to like stone cold them. I can't remember the induction because it was so whatever drinking or whatever. But I think it's like you have to like stone cold a bunch of beers.
And you got to beat Aaron Rodgers.
You can only like open it on the motion of catching.
Right, like you have to catch it and act like you're on the top rope and just throw them and throw them on your face like he does. He's not drinking any of it. He's wasting all that beer, by the way, guys.
He really is.
Speaking of chugging beers, Aaron Rodgers, I want all the smoke, all of it. I drank a 24-ounce beer pretty quickly, and I know I can do it better than you.
Well,
that was bad.
It was bad. You know what happened when I reached up because I was doing it? It's because it started going down the side of my mouth. So I was like, oh, shit.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. He's out for being immature. Anyway, I made sure that I finished it throwing one shot.
Well, that's good. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, like I don't know what happened in that video. Like, he like his personality just came out. Like right when he couldn't do it, like at the end, when he realized that everybody's watching him and he couldn't do it, like that's like Aaron Rodgers' worst moment.
He just gave up.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he really did.
He was like, you know what? I don't have to do this. I'm Aaron Rodgers. Whatever, buddy. Like you're cooler than us. Your lineman is way cooler than you. He down 2 of those.
He is a lineman, though. Come on.
And then those beers look like they're sippy cups in his hand.
Yeah.
Right. You know what? Like he's from Green Bay too. Like I feel like. If you live in Green Bay, it's like almost like you have to know how to do that.
The other thing is that Bakhtiari, is how many years out of college? 2?
No, more than that.
How many years?
I am not sure, but even if he is 2 years out of college, it means he still had a lot of drinking.
That's what I mean. So like he's closer to drinking than Aaron Rodgers has been. I mean, I don't know.
That's true.
I mean,
I guess that's a good.
Yeah, I mean, if he's like fresh out of college, he's going in.
Right.
2013 NFL draft, so 5 years.
5 years, okay, all right. That's actually further than I thought. Damn, he's been.
Yeah, that's drinking prime right there.
He's 27. I'm 32. I just went drinking this past weekend, and I wasn't even sure if I could make this podcast.
Attaboy, that sounds like a lot of fun. So, Elvis, you weren't here last week. Me and Faraz held it down while
missed
you
you guys,
enjoyed
man.
the home run derby. Oh, you missed us. Go fuck yourself. Hey, like when you were out there at the home run derby, tell us a little bit about it, man.
Oh my God, Cleveland. I don't care what Joe Noah
Joe
says.
Noah. I wish I had that drop. Like, who wants to go to Cleveland?
No. It was a beautiful city. You know, they had a lot of things around the stadium. It was a really nice stadium. I'm not going to tell anybody to go and watch a home run derby because I think I've watched the best one that's ever happened. It was like the greatest home run derby ever. So, like, I feel like the next one's not even going to be close to what I saw, you know, when I was there. It was epic, man. It was crazy. So
That's good, man. That's great. But, you know, like, it was such a good home run derby that not everyone could pay attention, you know, on the last podcast.
I was trying to keep you updated. I was like, look, Alonso's up. You're a Mets fan.
You know, it's funny. Like, I posted a video on Instagram today or yesterday, and Elvis, like, the whole time. No. Sorry, bro. Piff is like, he's just sitting there in the back, like, just like he's on the couch, just like watching TV.
You know what?
While I'm talking.
You know what's fun? You know what's funny for us? Because I had no idea that you could actually record the Skype call.
I know, you had no idea.
So I'm not gonna look at it. No offense to you, you're a good-looking guy and all, but you know, like I was just, you know, I'm not into looking into the camera. Now I'm like, that's definitely the clip too that we're gonna use. That one right there. But yeah, Elvis, the home run derby, we were jealous.
To go and watch one, hopefully it's as good as what I was able to experience.
We were
last
jealous.
week.
We were pretty jealous.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was.
And on top of that, like a Mets player won too.
Yeah, my buddy who was there. He was a Met fan too, and he won like $800 because he actually bet on Alonso to win.
Wow.
So that's crazy.
I picked him to win in the T-Mobile Challenge, but I didn't get the number of home runs right. Actually, I got the person that he was going to face wrong. I had Jock Peterson in, who missed by that much.
Yeah, by an inch.
I felt bad for Jock.
Yeah, I felt bad for Vlad. He hit 91 home runs.
Well, Vladdy hit 91. That's more teams that hit in a season already so far.
Lost to somebody who hit 57 home runs, but still, it was great.
Isn't that awesome that Vlad is going to be great in the league like his pops was? That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
Like, Michael Jordan's son sucks.
Yeah.
LeBron James' son could be good. Yeah, and Wade.
Yeah. I think LeBron's son's
Are they
going
on
to
the
be
same
good.
team now?
Huh? Yeah, they are on the same team.
Yeah, high school team.
They're pairing up super teams in high school,
Yeah,
too.
in high
Jesus
school.
Christ.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
The NBA's terrible, bro. I hate the NBA.
Well, not anymore. It's duos now. I feel like this is the first time that we don't know who could win it.
But now, right. But they ruined it when they
did.
started doing all this stupid
It had to be
nonsense.
Kawhi to turn into Thanos and balance the league out. Because now it's all
right.
duos.
Right.
I saw that.
Perfectly balanced. That's it. Kawhi, the GOAT, man. Hey, while we're talking about basketball, you see you got the OKC jersey, which I purchased for a large discount at my place of employment now that he's not working for Oklahoma City anymore. Yeah, you can't turn your back on a $23 jersey. I don't care who it is.
It's a throwback, bro.
It is a throwback. It's Russell Westbrook's first team.
Yeah.
I don't even like Russell Westbrook, but whatever.
Nah, he's great.
No, he's a great player. I just would, if I was picking players' jerseys, it wouldn't be him.
No.
He was like one of my favorite players for a long time.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like something about his style.
Well-
But then you realize like he wasn't able to win like that. So and then it's just like that's when his legacy kind of like dropped a little bit.
See,
you kind of realize.
I just feel like, because guys don't win chips, automatically they get discarded. And I don't think that that's fair all the time because there's plenty of great players who have never won chips. Like, don't tell Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing or Karl Malone that they're trash. You know what I mean? Like, or Allen Iverson.
Well,
Right.
I think it's a little different with Westbrook because a lot of people see him as,
Selfish?
yeah,
Triple-double guy?
Yeah, like he shoots, like 50 shots and scores like 30 points.
I just want to know how many basketballs are going to be on the court for him and Harden.
Yeah.
Like, if they're the number one and number two players in usage, that means that team's going to take, 75 shots, and 66 of them are going to go to Westbrook and Harden?
I guess.
I mean, this is D'Antoni's offense, right?
And D'Antoni doesn't give a fuck about defense. You know that.
Yeah. I think it's going to be fun to watch them play together. A lot of people are skeptical about it.
It's going to be fun to watch them. They're going to win a ton of regular season games, but they're going to get bounced in the second round.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
You don't know that.
Harden or Westbrook can't close. No, less than them. D'Antoni can't close the deal. He never advances far in the playoffs, ever.
We'll see.
No defense, I can coach that. Get the ball out of the basket and get down and shoot with 20 seconds on a shot clock, you piece of crap. All right, enough with the basketball. Let's get into some fantasy football. I wanted to get into some news, so we could start with the one that's got a lot of Giants fans around this area, they're blood boiling because Elvis brought it up first, and I was gonna wait to troll him with it, but he came out right with it, so it's been on his mind.
Well, what Baker said about us, like,
So-
we're not passionate fans.
So Baker Mayfield made a comment saying, hey, you know, Odell's getting ready to play for fans that are ready to come out and watch him and root for him and everything. Basically taking a swipe at Giants fans.
No, well, can you read what he actually said? Because that's not what he said.
What did he say?
He said that we weren't passionate, basically saying that their fans were passionate and we weren't, and that their stadium is always packed.
It
He
is.
should have said what he should have said that Giants fans are soft.
Oh, man.
That's what he should have said.
Well, there's a large portion of Giants fans, at least the people that I speak to. You know, like I told you, where I work, I speak to sports fans of all kinds all the time, most of the time. And where do I work? I work up here, so we're near Giants fans. There's a large portion of Giants fans that are happy that Odell Beckham's gone. Not, hey, we'll make it work. They're outright, I'm happy Odell Beckham's not on my team. That's fine if you believe that.
That's because they won 2 championships in their lifetime.
Right, but
So they're okay with bad decisions.
okay, that's fair. Because I did make that point to someone else as a Yankee fan that, like, literally, if someone came down and said, you're not going to win any more championships as a fan, like, you won't get to watch any of them, I have 5. I'm good. Even if I don't win another one forever. 5? You know how many people get to see 5 in their lifetime for their team? Nobody.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to be as critical of them.
No.
Like, not enough Giants fans are critical of Dave Gettleman.
Right. Thank you. Everybody's mad at everybody but the person they need to be mad at. Everybody's mad at everybody but Gettleman.
Yeah, and like when you think about Saquon Barkley, like, see, I told you Saquon Barkley's the truth. But it's like, yeah, but look who you drafted this year. Because of a reaction to that.
Right.
Like, it's you know what I'm saying, like, and there were 4 like really good quarterbacks who were better than like almost all the quarterbacks in this draft class.
So who would you have taken? So it's Kyler 1, but who's the number 2 quarterback that you would have thought out of the draft? And then I'll ask Elvis.
Probably either Dwayne Haskins.
I would say Haskins.
Or
Lock.
Yeah, or Drew Lock. Yeah.
Okay.
Those were the probably top 3 for me. And I think it was Kyler and then the rest.
Yeah, no, it's Kyler, a large gap, and then Haskins.
Yeah. Right.
All right, Elvis, give us a Giants fan's take.
It's gonna be so biased,
Like,
but
this is not directed at you.
No,
it's okay.
we're good.
it's my response is obviously gonna be a little biased.
Go ahead.
Somewhat.
I
but
mean, whatever. You have the
but,
floor. This has nothing to do with fantasy football.
I
Air it out.
am gonna just let it ride out and see what the kids got. You know, I'm not gonna throw them under the bus just because the Giants decided
want
to
him to
pick
fail?
them 6. No, absolutely not. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he better not. He's on my dynasty team.
We're gonna wait and see. Maybe he could ball, maybe he can't. The one quarterback that I thought that maybe could be better than him was Locke. I didn't like Haskins at all. Haskins had a million, weapons on that team in Ohio State, to be able to spread the ball around. And this guy played at Duke, and obviously nobody goes to Duke.
But that's the thing that I liked about Haskins. He played against competition, good competition.
Okay, well,
I mean, but you're right though. I mean, look again. I can't evaluate college quarterbacks for shit.
I'm gonna give the kid a chance. I'm gonna wait and see. With the whole Odell thing, I called you. I was so pissed off when it first happened.
Well, we did the pod right immediately. That's why I wanted to get your raw feelings on it at that moment.
Right.
I didn't want you to settle down and get a good response.
Looking at everything else that happened prior to that and seeing stuff that I didn't see before, that information I didn't have, I'm kind of happy he's not on the team anymore. I mean, we've won without him. We haven't won shit with him. So, for me, if you're gonna go out and it doesn't matter how bad your quarterback is or your coaches or whatever,
and say things in the public,
and go in the media and say shit in the media. Fuck you. We don't want you.
Well, you know what? All right. So to a large portion of that, I agree, honestly. And it took me a little while to come around because we had like a knockdown, drag out argument off air one time about this, like when it first happened. And then Elvis put me onto the film of the Packers Giants game after the boat. Man, he was right. I didn't know, I just assumed that Aaron Rodgers kicked their dick in the second half or whatever.
Negative.
But these guys had a chance to win these games, and he dropped passes. Listen, I love Odell.
I do. So do I.
I don't think you should have traded him, but I kind of agree with that take, honestly, because at first I was like, oh, you guys are piling on, and then I was like, you know what? After I watched that, you're absolutely right. Momentum's everything. If he scores that touchdown, then what? If he catches a pass and moves the sticks, then what? And then it kind of just snowballed after the second half, but you have to keep up, especially when you're away, in Green Bay.
And you're going to come out and say that you can't be all you can be because of the team that you're in. Well, you had the opportunity to shine in the biggest stage, in the playoffs, and you did everything wrong. You dropped every single pass that was basically thrown to you in big situations. So, whatever. I mean, everybody got a bad day. I completely understand. I love his competitiveness.
He had it at the wrong time, though, especially after that picture came out.
Right. Well, I don't care. I was against everybody saying, oh, the picture, they were in the boat. Listen, these are young 20-year-old guys who are rich, and they're off. This is their time off from work. They can do whatever they want.
I just feel like there's.
I wasn't against that.
No.
They could have done whatever they want in their time. That's their time off. So
I just feel like there's like a period of like Odell when things soured, and I think it's that, and we'll call it BB and then AB, before boat and then after boat. Like right after the boat happened, you guys look for every reason to like get on him after that. So yeah, I mean, look, it's fucking July. There's no training camp. We're trying to get, like have a discussion or something. So like, is this something? No.
I wish him well.
Yeah. Is it interesting? Yes, and it's just funny to talk about, honestly, because I spoke to a Giants fan, he shall remain nameless, and he proceeded to be so angry to tell me, Baker Mayfield hasn't done shit in this league, he ain't shit, he's not going to be shit. And I'm like, what?
Well, he hasn't done shit yet, so.
I mean, he broke the touchdown record in 12 games. He didn't play. That doesn't mean anything. I love how that means nothing.
I don't go by 1 year. I always tell you this.
Bro, everybody was hype on Baker after that. And
I am hyped about him. But bro, after he came out and said that,
now it's like, oh, let's pump the brakes.
Bro, I travel. That's how much of a fan I am.
To Cleveland.
No.
Oh.
I'm saying I travel around the country to see my team, even when they suck.
And that's been up for a while lately.
Right. And if you don't think I'm dedicated, or I'm a dedicated fan.
True. No, you are. So you're taking it personally.
Suck my you know what, Baker Mayfield.
Faraz, you give me your take.
For you, it might be the case, right? Like, and for you and for a lot of Giants fans, like. But like when I'm considering like a lot of Giants fans who are like under the age of like 30, you know what I mean? Where like they won their championships when they were like how like what was that, 10 years ago?
7?
8 years ago?
Yeah, 7, 8.
No, it was 07.
07 and 12.
And 12.
Yeah, so 7.
7 and 16 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
So like, you know, someone's like 18, 17 when they first win the championship. I mean, like that's pretty good. So. Those are the fans that, like, you know, who have seen that and they become Giants fans, and then, you know, like, now it's like, whatever, right? Like, if they suck, we're not going to watch. But obviously there are guys like you and, you know, a lot of other Giants fans who've been struggling before that, who can, like, attest to the fact that, like, yeah, we won a championship, but I'm still a loyal fan.
Let me put it to you this way. When I started liking the Giants, their quarterback was Dave Brown.
Yes, I was waiting for that.
Dave fucking Brown.
So listen, and this is a great lesson right here, and I'm happy, Elvis, because I will never ever say that Elvis is not a diehard, and we can move on and get onto it right after this. But at that point, I've learned a big lesson about being humble, because at that point, I remember being in public school, right, and I'm surrounded by Giants fans, and I like the Niners. Keep it a bean. Who was a better team at that time?
The 49ers by a million.
I used to walk into school talking hella shit. Like, yo, who's your quarterback? Who you like? Them niggas suck. Man, when that came back around, oof, I had to eat shit a lot, man. Like when the Giants won their championships, because people don't forget. And if you've been a fan through the terrible times, which makes, like, we're Yankee fans. So if you were around when Dave Brown was around, I started watching the team when Mel Hall was our right fielder, when Roberto Kelly was our center fielder, when Donnie was, like, barely getting himself out there with his back. So that made all those championships sweeter for me. Yeah. Oh, well, that's fucked up. Oh, wow. You might be banned for that. Now Don Mattingly's a jinx? Jesus Christ.
Well, when the Jets win a championship in, like, 2042, it's going to be sweet.
Yo, he had his bets for 2042.
Bro, and let me tell you something. There's nothing sweeter than watching your team, who you don't think have any chance in the world to win, and they actually come out and they play as a team and they win. That is the greatest thing in the world. I'll tell you right now.
As a Giants fan, you should know it. You should know.
Exactly. 16-0 Patriots, so yeah.
Right. Bro, we won the Super Bowl 9-7.
Yeah.
We were 9-7.
And then it gave birth to the Giants fans' phrase, "We just gotta get in." Fucking dicks. Every year, don't let us get in. If we win 6 in a row, don't let us get in. You know what happens when we get in. All right. Go ahead, no, you're good. Go ahead, bro. You've heard it enough. That's why you're laughing. I hate that saying. They should get it on a shirt. Don't let us get in. That would be perfect. All right. Let's run through some quick fantasy notes. Emmanuel Sanders is going to avoid the pup list to open camp, actually. So he's not going to be a full go, from what I read. Not a full go. So I was of the mind that it's hands off Emmanuel Sanders because I didn't suspect him to be back. This is way faster than I suspected any 32-year-old or 33-year-old to recover from.
Especially it's the fact that he got hurt right before the fantasy playoffs.
Right, so it wasn't yeah, exactly. Like he got hurt at the end of the year. I was expecting him to, if he was going to come back, I expected him to be on short-term IR, where he would have been able to come back, whatever, week 10, 8?
Yeah, week 10, I think. Or
Yeah.
If you're on the pup, I think it's after week 6.
Right. So does that change your mind on Emmanuel Sanders at all?
I mean, it doesn't change my mind yet, but I'm impressed.
Yes.
You know, like it's cool. It's cool that he's avoiding that at 32 years old. It's legit. So good for him. I'm happy for him.
So
going to touch him in fantasy, I don't know. Like it depends where his ADP's at.
It's only going to rise now.
Yeah, it's going to rise. You know, but I mean, if let's say he's playing the slot, what ends up happening? Deshaun Hamilton is going to move to the outside. Like what's going to happen there? Like Deshaun Hamilton was somebody who could potentially break out. You know, if he was starting.
That's who loses, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So like it might be like a lose-lose situation here, and then like the best receiver turns out to be Cortland Sutton because he'll be the most valuable on the outside.
Well, the other thing is their quarterback's Joe Flacco, so who really gives a shit at this point? Honestly, it's almost like I kind of we already talked about who we're nervous for, and I'm not touching Cortland Sutton. He would have to fall so far on my draft that it'd be in the 9th, 10th round where I'm just like I don't give a shit. I'm gonna try.
Exactly.
But the thing is like, who's going to start? So it'll be Sutton, it'll be Sanders in the slot, and then I guess Deshaun could play outside?
I would assume that's what it would have to be. Especially Sanders, coming off an Achilles, he's not going to play on the outside.
No, I definitely can't. So the thing is like in that Baltimore offense, it used to be like Torrey Smith and Anquan and stuff like that. So I don't know. Do you see Torrey Smith being like Deshaun Hamilton in this offense then?
I mean, they have Tim Patrick too.
Is he gonna crack the starting roster?
The thing is, can Deshaun play on the outside? I think that's the question.
I think he's a good route runner.
Yeah, he is, but we've really only seen him play against multi zone, right? Like he can find the open spot.
Right, so he's not seeing an outside corner.
Right. We haven't really seen much of that yet.
Okay.
That's the only thing that concerns me. Tim Patrick, maybe they think he can play on the outside, better than Deshaun. I hope not.
Yeah.
He's talented.
Me too. He was the guy that I was going to take a chance on in there. So, I mean, Elvis, any interest in Emmanuel Sanders this season in the draft? I mean, where would we start having to, what's his ADP now? We'd have to consider him when?
5th?
Nah, he ain't going that high, right? No way. Probably he's going the 9th or the 10th?
The 9th or the 10th?
Yeah.
Is that early?
Even now, I was going to say that sounds early.
Jesus.
11:07.
Ooh, all right, so that's not so bad. I mean,
11 or 7?
11:07.
Oh.
11:07. So, I mean, who's going around him, though?
Let's see. Fucking ads. Paris Campbell,
Come on, yo, that's your boy. Yeah, you definitely are taking him. I mean, you got to take that upside away from Emmanuel Sanders. Come on.
Dude, I talk so much about Paris Campbell that he's going to shit the bed this year.
And you're going to have people coming for you.
That's fine. That's fine.
We'll talk about him because he's definitely going to be, because we're going to do undervalued and overvalued guys in a bit or whatever before we get into, we're doing the NFC East today, guys, right?
Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson, I take over him too.
Curtis Samuel and the
Oh, come on. Yeah, I'll talk about Curtis Samuel. If anybody's a Curtis Samuel fan, if I'm in your league, you're not getting Curtis Samuel.
It's you.
It's not going to happen.
Did you take that trade back?
I did take that trade back. I did because you took too long.
Send
hey,
it back.
Faraz, what do you think about Damian Williams and James Washington for Curtis Samuel? And what, did I ask for a pick? Oh, I'm sending you a pick too, right? 2020, 2022nd, I think I was going to send you for Curtis Samuel. I was gonna overpay like crazy in our dynasty league.
Jalen Samuels, you said?
No. Damian Williams, James Washington, and a 2022nd for Curtis Samuel.
I'm taking Damian Williams.
Yeah, no, I tried to send it to him, and he looked at it like.
Well, when you sent it to me, I was, a little intoxicated.
If you're intoxicated and you see that trade come through where you're getting two guys who could potentially start this year with a pick for next year.
Just resend it.
No, I'm not resending it now. That's why I'm taking it back. It made
Why?
me. I got buyer's remorse. Seller's remorse. I was like, wait a minute, should I do this?
All right.
We're gonna
want something. Don't fucking.
No, because I had to overpay to even get you to think about trying to trade me Curtis
Just send
Samuel.
the trade back.
All right.
Call it a day.
All right, let's keep moving forward.
I think Elvis got thrown in a little bit.
Right, he was like, "Is this real?"
Stop it.
All right, let's do it. Vic Fangio confirms that Philip Lindsay is ready to go for training camp. This is going to be a split, like a straight-up split.
I'm scared.
Yes, you should be.
Yeah.
I don't think Lindsay has the same upside that he did last year.
No, he doesn't. And when we were talking about it, because when we did, people were nervous about it. He was on my list, and it's only because Faraz made a great point. This coaching staff owes Philip Lindsay nothing because it's all brand new, and all they can do is evaluate who's on the team now, and they know that they invested a second round in Royce Freeman.
All right.
Yeah, and Lindsay didn't even
Undrafted.
didn't play. So and now he's coming off that injury. Royce Freeman was with the coaches throughout OTAs. So, he has the upper hand right now.
Yes.
I hate fucking using that word.
Hey, it works. It's a catchphrase. We have to find a way to get that in here. We'd be like, and that's fantasy brewed. Like the same way. Like those movies when they use the movie in the name.
I have like a chalkboard right here. It's got like a little one.
Sally. Got him again. Ring the bell. We need that one too. Sorry, the soundboard is down because I'm an idiot and I left the speaker, so I blew it. Anyway, let's move on. Dan Quinn thinks that Austin Hooper can go to another level. It's kind of funny. We brought him up before the show started.
Let me ask you a question. Do we have to move on? No, sorry. I just want to make one more point.
Go.
So, Royce Freeman's going at the end of the 8th round. So, right now. Royce Freeman going at the end of the 8th round right now. So, that's an ADP probable rise. But, I mean, right now, that's a great value.
I'm taking him.
Yeah.
It's almost like in the same situation with Chris Carson and Rashad Penny. There's got to be two for. They're both going to eat.
Yeah, I think Freeman's ADP with this news that just came out recently is going
to skyrocket.
Like the early 7th round or something like that.
Not in casual leagues, though, because remember, the casual fan drafted him last year having high hopes, and they're going to be like, screw this guy because of what he did last year.
That's true. And anybody who listened to Fantasy Football Counselor definitely had Royce Freeman like the 2nd round. So
the counselor. Yo, this man is out here telling people to not draft Nick Chubb because when Kareem Hunt comes back, it's a wrap for Nick Chubb.
It's a wrap.
Fam, lay off the drugs. What is going on here? Spoiler alert, my overvalued player is Kareem fucking Hunt. There is no reason to draft him this year in redraft leagues. You are a big dummy if you draft him. You know why? You're getting him in fucking week 10. Can you hold him for 10 weeks?
There should be a limit of how much you can hold somebody on your bench.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, in Yahoo leagues, though, it might not be a bad idea because if your default settings are for just a regular IR, suspended guys can go into IR.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. It happened last year with me and Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, that's good to know.
So maybe it's not crazy. Holy shit, did I just talk myself into Kareem Hunt in Yahoo?
Yeah, you did.
I did? Yeah. Jesus. That's my guy, honestly. Yeah. So Quinn thinks that Austin Hooper can go to another level. Elvis, I'll start with you. What is another level for Austin Hooper? I don't know what this other level is.
What level was he in last year?
I don't know. I mean, he's a top 10 guy.
He's not consistent enough.
No, I mean, but after the top 3, it's kind of everybody's kind of the same, right? It's all a crapshoot, right? What's his ADP right now for us?
I think it was 8th round, if I'm not mistaken.
That's not bad. Would you rather?
No, actually 10:08.
Oh wow, 10th round. That's not bad. Would you rather have Austin Hooper or Vance?
I'll take him in the 10th round.
Yeah.
For sure.
Would you rather have Austin Hooper or Vance?
Austin Hooper is not close.
Yeah. So if you had to rank him,
where's Vance going right now?
He's going higher.
That's too early for me.
That's too early. That's in the 7th round. You could probably get yourself another receiver or a running back with upside at that point.
Yeah, if Jared Cook falls to the late 2nd, I'll think about it over Vance personally.
Over Vance, okay. I think, yeah.
Falls, yeah.
Yeah, because that's an interesting point that you brought up about Jared Cook because we don't know who the number 2 receiver is in New Orleans. Is it Traquan Smith? Is it Ted Ginn? I'm kind of betting that, it might be Jared Cook.
Yeah, it could be, man. We saw tight end be valuable there before. Jared Cook was valuable with a quarterback that I don't think is that good last year. And he was just hyper-targeting him. So, if Cook... We know that Cook can be athletic. We know he's that guy, but he's disappointed us in fantasy for 6 years.
And he's had elite quarterbacks too. He's played with Aaron Rodgers and still disappointed us. So don't tell me it's the quarterback.
Right. No, and it's not the quarterback. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, that system, it's questionable now. Now that we know what Mike McCarthy was they played the same way, because of him. So it's going to be interesting to see Aaron Rodgers actually playing in a system that can, think outside the box a little bit. But yeah, no, I think he can succeed there, and the upside is kind of worth kind of taking him that late. I'm glad he's not going earlier than that. I'm surprised he's not, honestly, because people get enamored, with a guy, like a decent guy who did good the past year, who gets an upgrade in quarterback, and usually might be going like the 5th, 6th round.
He'll probably go pretty high in the casual drafts. I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of, you touched on Aaron Rodgers. So apparently a beat writer is making it clear that the Packers are expected to open camp with the 3 wide receiver set of Devontae Adams, Geronimo Allison, and MVS. Honestly, we really knew that. We didn't need confirmation. I think what we need to find out is where are they going to play on the field. So, I mean, from this report and from what I've been reading, and Faraz, you tell me if I'm crazy, it's sounding like MVS is going to start outside opposite Adams with Allison in the slot.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Okay. Do you value slot more than MVS? Would you I have a feeling that they're gonna stay around the same ADP because there's 2 groups of I've already stamped my flag. You know this, Elvis,
yes.
with Geronimo Allison, I have. But there's gonna be the 2 groups that'll say one against the other. At this point, go ahead, Elvis.
I don't think with the Packers offense it doesn't matter whether you're playing in the slot or the outside.
You don't think so?
I think because Aaron Rodgers throws the ball wherever he wants,
or to whoever's open.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He could throw the ball anywhere on the field.
Okay.
There's quarterbacks that can't throw past 10 yards.
Right.
FYI, Eli Manning.
Eli Manning. Okay.
But you know what I mean.
Right.
I was hoping you wouldn't overlook that one.
No, but Faraz, what do you think? MVS or Allison?
I think there's a couple of factors for me. I was a big Geronimo Allison guy coming into this year. But him moving to the inside is just a different role, right? And we saw him do his thing last year, which I was very impressed with.
Me too.
On the outside. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that he's not capable of playing inside. I think if you're able to play on the outside, you move inside, that's an advantage for you. That's
right.
Good. But does Aaron Rodgers value the outside a little bit more? Maybe. He's had good outside wide receivers before and multiple guys getting 1,000+ yards, 10+ touchdowns. Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams is one of those duos, right? Randall Cobb has had a ridiculously good season in the slot. I think it was 2014 or 2015 or something like that. I think it was 2014.
Yes.
So it's possible, but for me, it's just where is he going to throw the ball? Where is he comfortable? I want to hear where he's thrown the ball in camp. I want to hear. I want to see what he does in preseason if he plays at all.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm waiting for, honestly. At this point, MVS with his, he was able to separate last year pretty well, and I think he did a decent job as a rookie and had some good games. So it's he could be talented. He could take a little bit of a step forward, and Aaron Rodgers has been talking him up. Well, he's been talking everyone up, but still, I think it's a wait and see thing for me. Mm-hmm. For me, if I had to pick one right now, it might be MVS just because he's going later.
Okay. Well, all right. How much later? If
a round.
Oh, a whole round. Okay.
Yeah, 1 round.
Yeah.
It's 807 versus 906, and the guys going around Geronimo, Marvin Jones and D.D. Westbrook, in between him and MVS. So
which of those guys is probably the most likely to get targets out of all of them? The most? Probably Marvin Jones, right?
Targets, I would say potentially one of the Packers wide receivers or D.D. I would say D.D. even has more targets than Marvin. I think Marvin's more of a low volume, high efficiency type of guy and high end zone type of guy. Okay.
All right. That's fair. I had some news, actually. It's lineman news, but I think it's fantasy relevant, if you ask me. So Bengals guard Clint Bowling announced his retirement from the NFL. That's another big blow to their line. Jonah Williams is already out for the year, their first-round stud. Now we're talking about one of their most established linemen also getting hurt. How does this affect Joe Mixon now? Because that line was dog shit last year, and now it's worse.
Yeah.
The scheme should be better.
Joe Mixon did pretty good with that line last year.
Yeah.
Despite how bad it was. But yeah, like you said, it's gonna, there's a couple hits. I think one of the things that really benefited Joe Mixon is that the Bengals, believe it or not, even with Marvin Lewis, they ran I think the second or third most out of 11 personnel. So 3 wide receivers on the field, almost on every play. With Tyler Boyd, they have a talented slot wide receiver,
and John Ross
outside. They were able to do that. So that's why, Joe Mixon didn't see stacked boxes, and that lineman didn't have to worry about, a bunch of linebackers. You know what I mean? They only had to worry about 6 guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of why, Joe Mixon was able to do his thing. And coming now this year, right? They have a guy who is, a Sean McVay
Offshoot,
kind
yeah.
And Shanahan a little bit too. But protege, and I could see him running a lot of 3 wide receiver as well, just because they have a guy in Tyler Boyd who can play the slot too. So we could see Joe Mixon still kind of doing his thing, But yeah, he definitely takes a hit.
I always loved Tyler Boyd. He's very excited for Tyler Boyd this year.
I love him.
No, he's solid. He's about as solid as a wide receiver too in your draft gets. Like he's really solid, honestly. All right, one last thing. My favorite player in the world, Derrick Henry. Apparently, the Titans plan to quote unquote don't laugh ride Derrick Henry in his contract year. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Let everybody else get hyped and let them draft him. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want him. I want nothing to do with him.
He doesn't catch passes. Not a single fucking pass.
Yeah. And a couple games that,
Everybody's gassed off that. I mean, I'm sure he's going to get high volume. Like, he's going to get 20, 25 touches. Easy. But I don't care. What are the quality of those touches?
Right.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. Like, he's interesting. He has a lot of upside, right? What I think about is I always love guys who are pass catchers, right? But then, there are special running backs. I'm not putting Derrick Henry in this category, but there's special runners like Adrian Peterson, for example, who was a early down back and left the field on 3rd down, right? But he was able to sustain that. His defense, wasn't that great a lot of those years. But, there are guys who can be prolific on early downs. And depending on where Derrick Henry lands, he could potentially do something similar with respect to not have to worry about game script too much, and still get potentially 20-plus carries a game, if that report is true. So that's kind of where I'm at. Now, the problem is that with these type of reports, Derrick Henry's going to rise. Now, in standard leagues, he's going the 2nd round.
That's different, though. He's a touchdown machine. That's what you're looking for.
So, but in PPR leagues, it's going to be tough to
He's 4th, right?
What's that?
4th in PPR. He's in the 4th.
He's right at the turn, on the 3-4 turn.
The problem is that the guys that are being in that tier, like Aaron Jones, like Leonard Fournette, give me almost all those guys, right. Any of them,
He's going a little bit later. Well, not that much later, honestly. You got Fournette, Marlon Mack, Freeman.
Gimme.
You got Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery right after him. So
See,
those guys too.
The guy that I grapple with is probably Jacobs, I'd say, only because he's one of my guys that I feel like is a little bit overvalued. But I'll get into that, but I mean, I could still see a world where I would pick Josh Jacobs over Derrick Henry.
I would. I think I would. Yeah.
If you're trying to be safe, and I think if you want upside, I think Henry has that.
Right, I think so too. All right, let's get into some undervalued and overvalued guys. I mean, I picked too many, and we can dissect them, and we'll be here. We're probably going to be here for 2 hours. We're already close to 40. So I mean, I just want to rattle off a few names that I feel like are being undervalued. James White is one. When are people going to wake up? This stigma and this narrative of hey, the Patriots backfield is hard to predict. I'll tell you what's not hard to predict. James White has a role. Rob Gronkowski's gone. Julian Edelman's going to get targets. The number 2 guy on that team will be James White again. I don't understand why people are not getting it. Why aren't you getting it? He's going as the 18th, 19th running back. In my half-point PPR league, I would rather have James White than Derrick Henry.
Absolutely.
Damn.
Yes. The only thing he's not going to be able to replicate from last year is the touchdowns. That's it. The touchdowns were too high. But if you're telling me that my RB2 possible flex is going to be somebody that's going to give me 5, 7, 8 catches a game with the chance of catching one of those at the goal line and taking it in with Tom Brady, yeah, man. Why not?
I mean, you brought up a great point about Gronk. I think not having Gronk makes a big difference. And I think he was without Edelman too, right? For part of.
So that's the thing.
Right,
it's every time someone else goes down, the reliable guy, the trustworthy guy to Tom Brady, he trusts him. He knows his role. Belichick trusts him. The guy that is locked into his role in this backfield is not Sony, is not Damian Harris, is not Rex Burkhead, is James White. He's locked into his role.
Right, no, for sure. But I think my only concern with him is the fact that this could be a 3-back committee. When Rex Burkhead came back last year, his playing time definitely dropped.
It did.
And we know that they wanted him in that rotation. He just got hurt. So when he came back, it was a little like, all right, well, I still want to start him because he has a shot at doing it. And he did it in the playoffs. He had 11 receptions or something.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to remember too. Like, I think the thing about him that I want to scale back is because he was an RB1 last year.
Right.
What I want to scale back, and when I say that I want James White, is I want him as my RB2. You know,
No, for sure. And
right.
in PPR leagues, so if you look at the past 2 years, in games without Gronk, which is a 5-game sample out of the 30 games altogether, so 25 to 5, he scored 5 more PPR fantasy points per game.
Yeah.
So 17.75 fantasy points compared to 12.88 fantasy points without Gronk and with Gronk.
right.
So without Gronk, there's a considerable upside that he has, and his touchdowns too, half a touchdown more per game as well.
Right. So that's the only thing that scares me is just the touchdowns. But I know that he's locked into getting. I think he's just locked into getting targets because again, it's who do they trust? Like at the end of the day.
You know what's interesting about the touchdowns though? Like if he's going to be that involved though, I wouldn't even say that he's due for a regression. And the reason why I say that is because depending on where you get targeted, like the closer, Pro Football Focus did a study on where you get targeted, like on the field, and where you are and where the quarterback is. And on those short, like inside the 10 type of targets, the closer you are, the more predictable that you'll get more touchdowns going forward.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like if you are an end zone target, you are an end zone target type of thing.
Right.
So like those are actually somewhat predictable if your team is able to get to the end zone.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it does.
I'm not super high on James White, only because of the fact that of how crowded that backfield is, and there are other guys I could take a little bit later. It's like I always go with like just pick the latest Patriots running back.
Right. That's always the strategy.
But it also depends on how expensive what's his name gets.
Sony.
Rookie.
Oh, Damian Harris.
Yeah, Damian Harris. Sorry, I was gonna say Damian Williams was about to come out of my mouth. I'm like, that's not him. But yeah, no, he's super cheap, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if his ADP rises high too, and like it's just a little bit between him and James White. Like James White is probably the choice there.
Okay. All right. And I didn't really want to get into like a whole thing there, but it's good. It's a good discussion to have. But like some other guys that I feel like are still being undervalued. Everybody's kind of scared of Chris Carson because of his knee. I'm not going to be scared. Like, again, those guys are going to run the ball 50 times. I want a piece of it. Chris Carson's the more expensive one though. That's the only issue. And I feel like Rashad Penny is like the breakout guy. But I mean, right. I still feel like people are sleeping on Chris Carson. Christian Kirk's a little undervalued if you ask me too. I see some of the guys going ahead of him. Like Will Fuller's going ahead of Christian Kirk. Stop it. Stop the madness. Wow. There's no way in hell I would do that. And then, you guys don't need to, you guys already know. Curtis Samuel, undervalued. Stop it. I don't want DJ Moore. I'm taking Curtis Samuel. So.
You think DJ Moore's overvalued?
No. But I don't want to pay around there in the fifth. Like, who's going around him? Tyler Boyd? I'd rather have Tyler Boyd probably.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd's going after him.
I would.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and again, with the slot, those targets are valuable. And they're going to run 11 a lot. So, I mean, and Tyler Boyd broke out last year. Like, we're seeing, like, you saw the breakout. That's why they drafted him, so.
Right.
Do you guys have anybody that's being undervalued at this point? Elvis, did you have someone? No. All right, Faraz, you're up.
Undervalued?
Yes.
I'll probably go with Allen Robinson.
See, oh my God, he almost made my list, but go ahead.
Well, the reason why I'm talking about Allen Robinson is because I never talk about Allen Robinson.
Yeah, me neither, actually.
He's kind of somebody I'm coming around to right now, and I'm kind of thinking about it out loud with you right now. Like, he's a talented receiver, right?
Yes.
Last year was his first year back from the
ACL. He's right.
Right, and like he's coming back into this year, healthy, like a full off season. Like I love guys, when they're coming. Okay, I should just stop right there.
Oh, I love guys. All right, go for it, Faraz. It's all right. We're totally mature. We got it, bro. Go ahead. I get what you're saying.
When guys are coming off their ACL injury, it's like you can't expect so much, especially because they spent the whole offseason rehabbing, right? And now they're not going to be rehabbing this offseason going into next season. So this is where he's like putting in all that time in the gym, studying film. Well, obviously you can study film without being on the field.
But it's his second year in the offense.
Second year in the offense. His coach is Matt Nagy, somebody who's really known for. And this is why I was high on Allen Robinson last year. But he's somebody who's known for getting guys who are like not so great in their route running, in getting them open, just out of scheme, which is super interesting. And a guy like Al Robinson who could run routes, he has a high ceiling, I think. And going where he's going, he can see a high target share. Mitch Trubisky's second year too. Second year in this offense. So I think this whole offense can potentially take a step forward.
No, I'm in lockstep with you actually, because I was looking, because I started looking at like, all right, the expert consensus rankings, and started like looking at where people are going, and I saw Allen Robinson there, and I was like, that feels a little low. Like Sammy Watkins, I think, is going over him, and I'm not sure that I'm ready to do that because I know who's safer. And all those things you said are true. Like second year in the offense and everything. I actually watched the film of the first game. I was trying to like run back because I still don't know if I know what Mitchell Trubisky is just yet. Like there's times when I'm watching him and I'm like, man, this kid is legit.
I kind of feel like his really, really, really good games was like Matt Nagy, just like controlling him with like a controller. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically how I thought about it.
You're right. And then that's what I wanted to bring up, because I was watching that first game against the Packers where, Aaron Rodgers got, shot up with drugs, and he came out at halftime after he destroyed his knee, and like he was like loopy, and he found that he won the game. But two things stuck out to me. One, Khalil Mack is a fucking beast. Like honestly, like I watched that game at a bar, and I was like, oh, I remember, and bro, it didn't stick with me. When I watched it again, Jesus H. Christ, this man was dominating. Like he literally ripped the ball out of Deshaun Kaiser's hands, and then there was another one, or it was Aaron Rodgers' arms. Then there was another play where he literally had Deshaun Kaiser in his grasp, read his eyes, just fell back a little, and he just threw the screen pass right into Mac's hands, and he ran it in for a touchdown. But him and Akeem Hicks, I watched Akeem Hicks push 3 linemen out of the way. 3. They were all trying to guard him, 3 of them, and get Aaron Rodgers. I was just like, Jesus, those guys are men. But
he's so underrated.
He is. No one ever talks about him. And I was literally watching it saying, like, Jesus Christ, even I underrated Akeem Hicks. But
everybody does.
But man, when I was watching these exotic formations. Man, he would have Trey Burton, he would have Robinson out there, and a lineman standing out with his leg out like he's receiving, and then I'm like, what in God's name are they doing?
Sometimes it was a little silly.
Weird.
I get it. I get what you're trying to do. Like, I don't know if you noticed this, but on the back of his play sheet, like, there's a big sticker that says "Be you."
Yeah. Isn't that what his kids told him?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that he said his son or somebody, his daughter, I'm not sure, but they said, "Daddy, you need to be you," and he put it there. Yeah.
That's good advice. That's good advice, though.
Why do kids know it all? Like, honestly.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, so I agree on Allen Robinson. Elvis, like Allen Robinson, who else is going around him? Allen Robinson, Sammy Watkins.
That's the problem. Taking a bunch of guys over him there. Dante Pettis. Okay, so these are the 3 names going around.
Here we go. This is going to be a good one.
Dante Pettis, Robbie Anderson, and Christian Kirk.
Whoa. Oh my God, Jesus. Literally all 3 of those guys are interchangeable. And you know what's funny is out of all 3 of those guys, I feel like the safest is Christian Kirk and Allen Robinson. So it would be between those 2 for me.
Right.
And I love Robbie Anderson.
I was going to say, what about Robbie?
I think you're right. I think the safest might even be Allen Robinson.
Yeah, it is.
He's just so unsexy right there.
It is. It sounds bad because, like, again, when I was watching some of the games back and I was watching Trubisky, I'm like, Jesus, that was a god-awful throw. Like, but you have to remember, it's a kid, and he's going to be in this offense that's actually really conducive to success for him because Matt Nagy plays to his strengths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
So, for you, Elvis, Robbie Anderson, Christian Kirk, Allen Robinson, or Dante Pettis? Pettis probably, you know what? I feel bad. Don't yell at me, 49er fans. Pettis is the one I want the least out of all 4 of those guys.
Probably Christian Kirk, Robinson, and Robbie in that order.
Christian Kirk, I feel like, is really, really going to be solid this year. He's definitely on my, I already said undervalued, but yeah, I think Kirk is. But yeah, it would be between Kirk and Robinson for me. And if I really want to feel safe, it would probably be Robin. Like, if I can get Allen Robinson as my wide receiver 2, you're getting a wide receiver 1, no doubt.
Right. Absolutely.
I hear you, man.
Yeah. All right. Do you have someone you said undervalued besides Allen Robinson? Anybody else that you want to talk about real quick?
The Packers wide receivers.
Okay.
Like, I think you mentioned that already, but like where they're going right now in the 9th round right now, like both of them, or the end of the 8th and 9th, like one of those guys is overvalued. The only reason why they're undervalued. The only reason why they're undervalued right now is because no one knows who the guy is yet.
Right.
So like as soon as one of these guys get hype, it could be justifiably so, maybe not. Usually they get hype for justified reasons. Usually, if the ADP drops, goes up a couple slots, it's usually justified. But I guess it's funny. All the hype. This reminds me of Stephen Diggs and Adam Thielen last preseason, where Stephen Diggs was just killing it with Kirk, right? And then Adam Thielen was the one who was going around later, and he's the one who ended up killing it that year.
To start the year.
Stephen Diggs did his thing, 100%. The last 3 weeks were complete shit.
Yeah.
This is the second year in a row, by the way, where Adam Thielen shit the bed in the fantasy playoffs championship. In 2017, and he did nothing.
You don't have to sell me on who's better between Diggs and Thielen. I give me Diggs all day.
Same here. My point is just that, we have to kind of pay attention to, why are guys more higher value. Later on, when these Packer wide receivers, separate a little bit, we have to figure out whether, the later round guys actually, better value.
Right.
Whether it's not,
Right. Yeah, I agree. Do we want to get into some overvalued guys? Elvis, I'm going to let you start with the overvalued guys. I kind of like this name, and he's definitely somebody I'm going to agree with.
Eric Ebron.
Eric Ebron is the most overvalued tight end right now in the world.
He's definitely not going to duplicate the 13 touchdowns that he had last year.
13?
Yeah.
That's even, oh my God. I knew he scored all the touchdowns, and even that, when hearing it out loud, shocks me.
Wait, it was only 13?
Oh.
I thought it was more than that, dude. Okay.
He's really upset about his Madden rating too.
Yeah, I saw that.
14 touchdowns.
14, because he had a rushing touchdown, the bastard.
Oh.
That's right.
Jesus. And he's mad about his Madden rating, but whatever, we'll leave that for the end because I got a bone to pick with them even though I don't play that game.
Dude, his ADP dropped. His ADP was in the 5th round. A couple weeks ago.
Everybody's coming around to the guy.
Right. And I had an Instagram post on that's going around Instagram right now.
At Hupper and Fantasy.
Whether Eric Ebron or Jack Doyle, and you can get Doyle
for free.
For free. He's going in the 14th round. Ebron is going in the 7th.
Dude. Listen, you know that I'm with Doyle. Give me the guy who's going to be on the field, blocking, on the field more. And he was one of my undervalued guys. I just was waiting for Elvis to bring up Eric Ebron because he's my number one overvalued guy.
Right, my undervalued guy was Jack Doyle.
So Jack Doyle is going right now ECR. I think it was something like that it looks like he's the 18th or 19th. And it's bro, come on. Stop it. And especially, again, we talked about it. Outside of, let's even graft it to 5. Even though those two guys that I'm going to mention outside of the Elite 3, O.J. Howard and Hunter Henry,
right,
are, they're solid bets, but they're not sure bets.
Right.
Yeah.
After that, it's all a crapshoot, right? So there's going to be weeks where Doyle gives you 3 catches for 42 yards.
Yeah, but listen, when they're together, Doyle's the one running more routes, in on more plays, and getting more targets.
He's a better blocker, so he's in the game.
He even out-targeted Ebron in the end zone.
He did.
When they played together.
He did.
So it's just he got hurt.
No, and Elvis brings up a good point, too. It's just because they trust him. They want him on the field. If he's a better blocker, obviously Luck just likes throwing the tight ends. Let's just put it out there. Look, Eric Ebron was a big talent coming out. Everybody was on him. But I'm not going to act like Eric Ebron has suddenly changed into this guy. Come on. You know what I mean? I'm still going to...
He just got a shit ton of opportunity in a really good situation for him.
I'm just going to die on this Doyle over Ebron Hill. I'll be over here. Whatever. Come for me, whatever. It's fine. Do you have an overvalued guy, Faraz?
I'm going to say, George Kittle. I think...
Oh, man. Go for it. Man, that hurts. Yeah. That's a gut punch. Yeah. I just took him in the... Wait a minute. I just took him in that draft, and you're like, oh, good job. Damn it.
If it's your draft, I'm not going to make it.
I got to see. Hold on. I got to check right now. I think I took him in the...
Where'd you take him?
In the 3rd. Yeah, I got him 3-6.
In the 10 team?
Yeah.
I can see it. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't want to... I didn't want to, I was toying around with it, and I was like, I don't want to dick around with tight ends. You know what I mean? I'd rather just have a guy. At least I could just start and just, set and forget it.
I love Joe
Kittles. The hope is that he truly is elite. And his numbers, from last year show... are absolutely elite.
Mm-hmm.
The only concern that I have is the fact that you're gonna have a different quarterback throwing the ball. Like that's number one. The other thing is that there are going to be more guys to throw the ball to this year, and not enough vacated targets. So it's possible that he gets a regression in his target share. Those are my two only concerns there. And paying a third for that is a little tough for me.
Okay.
Even if it has the elite ability, like O.J. Howard has elite ability.
Yes.
I think Evan Engram has elite ability, but like I think David Njoku could potentially even.
Hunter Henry too.
Hunter Henry, all these guys, right? George Kittle had a great situation last year where he was the main focus of that offense, and he had a couple quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks who lean on him a lot. But he has a couple questions, and those questions, for me, like they don't warrant a third round pick, even if he is a potential elite talent. This is just a situation.
I agree. I mean, you know what? Like you're kind of convincing me, and it kind of reminded me of the stat that I saw floating around on Twitter that there's only 4 tight ends over the last decade who have logged more receiving yards in their first 2 NFL seasons than Evan Engram. Evan Engram has basically 1,300, 1,299. Those names are George Kittle, Rob Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham, and Aaron Hernandez. Rest in peace. Yeah, I mean, Evan Engram was my number. Did I have him over OJ? That's hard to say. Like he's in there too, honestly. So you're right about that, honestly. That's a really good point. And then the thing is, here's the other thing too. Like I just feel like a lot of what made Kittle successful last year was, well, one, obviously a lack of weapons. We've got some guys that are coming in now that are going to have the ball. Don't tell me that Tevin Coleman is not going to take away. Don't tell me that Pettis and Deebo Samuel aren't going to take away, even if they don't get a lot. He's still the number one option on this team. I definitely agree on that. But a lot of what he did was, man, God, if Shanny knows how to scheme shit up, man, like he was running wide open at certain plays where defenses didn't even know where he was. So while it's all, he has elite, talent and he's great and everything, and I love him. He's a fun guy. Obviously, he plays for my team or whatever. He's my favorite player right now. But
biased.
Yeah, definitely biased. But you definitely have to give Kyle Shanahan a lot of credit, honestly, too, with that.
Oh, hell yeah. He's a great coach. He just, his circumstances have been shit since he got to San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, there's a certain beat writer that doesn't feel like that he feels like if this doesn't work out this year, that he's a great, what does he say? He's a great coach for fantasy football, he said. Well, he's not wrong about that, but that's not all he is.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Overvalued for me, and I don't know, you might yell at me about this one. I got Mike Williams. He's a little overvalued. Okay, so listen. For you Mike Williams truthers, because you're out there on Twitter, you're out there, and this is your time. Tyrell Williams is gone, right? Hey, Mike Williams is going to see more targets. I'm not going to kill you on the reasoning. What I'm going to say is I'm nervous, and it's not so much a slam dunk because you're missing out on the fact that Keenan Allen is still going to see his targets. There's no way in hell that I see Mike Williams out targeting Keenan Allen. But you substitute Tyrell Williams for Hunter Henry. Now, he won't get as many. Well, he'll probably get as many targets as Tyrell Williams, so those targets aren't vacated. What I'm afraid of is what everybody's excited about is that Mike Williams got a lot of red zone targets. And I expect more of those to go to Hunter Henry than I do Mike Williams. Where Mike Williams is going, I see the upside. I'm just I'm not seeing this clear path to being I don't think anybody's mistaking him as the number one, but I don't see this clear path to this huge breakout season that everybody sees. He'll be fine. He'll be a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, but that's not where he's going right now, right?
Yeah, he's going at the end of the 5th right now.
That's too high. I would never.
There's too many guys around him that are just I'd rather have.
Name a few.
So he is the wide receiver 26. I mean, he'll probably finish. I think where he'll finish is probably low end wide receiver 2, but it doesn't matter. I just don't think he'll be consistent enough.
That's why.
He'll have his games, right? I can totally see him having a 5-catch, 85-yard, 2-touchdown game. I can totally see it because if he's getting looks, they can have it. But you have, let's see, Tyler Boyd.
Give me Tyler Boyd.
Cooper Kupp is going early 5th round, then Tyler Lockett, Jarvis Landry, DJ Moore, Mike Williams. So really the two guys for me is Mike Williams and Tyler Boyd right there. Maybe Jarvis Landry. But then, you kind of looking a little forward and you see Dante Pettis, Robbie Anderson, kind of like 1 round later.
Wait.
So depending on where you're choosing, I don't know. You might have to just go elsewhere.
Elvis.
Around this place.
Tyler Boyd or Mike Williams?
Come on, are you gonna ask me that?
All right, yeah, he's the Boyd
That's what I
truther.
thought. I'm like, wait, I thought you were Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I could get him to flip flop, like I get like on the start shit shows, and we should change that to that. No, whatever. Start sit shows on those. On the start sit shows, I always find a way to get him to admit that Dak is a guy to start over somebody else. So.
Yeah, because you throw like some bum out there.
No, I don't. I'll throw
Dak or Daniel Jones.
No. There's one time I threw out Dak or Tom Brady. Yo, you sat there like, ooh, because you knew Brady had a horrible matchup.
Yeah, whatever.
You just got it. Sometimes you got to roll with it.
I hope they pay him $60 million a year.
Let me ask you a question. Dak Prescott has been a top 12 quarterback every year that he's been a starter. Every year.
I love his ADP.
Give me Thank you. Give me him. I'm gonna have him in a lot of leagues, honestly. And Elvis is gonna be sick. I'm gonna have him as later on as a. If it's like down to like the guys that I'm.
You know who's not gonna have him on this team?
You won't.
Man? I won't.
But I'll get him in what, like the 12th, the 13th, or whatever. Like he's going really late. Everybody's off him, and that's good. It's gonna be like I'm gonna have a lot of Dak and I'm gonna have a lot of Trubisky. I think I'm gonna run with it or whatever and see what happens this year. I think he's too low too.
I want to have a lot of Trubisky, and I want to have.
You're a Trubisky guy though.
What's his name from Buffalo? Allen?
Josh Allen.
Yeah,
that's the range that he's going in. You're probably gonna have to make that decision one way or the other. I think, right?
Dak is going at the end of 11th, like around 12.
That's beautiful.
And then Josh Allen's at 1304. Mitch Trubisky's at 1311.
Give me Mitch Trubisky over Allen.
But Elvis, I'm 100% with you, dude, because Josh Allen and Mitch Trubisky, those are the guys that I'm aiming for at the end of every draft, just because, and I'm going with them as my QB1 too. In
a single quarterback league.
Yeah, I'm not taking any quarterbacks until the end, the 13th round, 14th round.
There's just too much upside up until that point.
The problem is, and this is kind of interesting, and you tell me if this is a little crazy. If we were doing a quote-unquote experts, you see me doing this? Because, if we were doing an experts league like that.
What industry league?
Oh, yeah, okay, there you go. That's perfect. An industry league. I feel like quarterbacks, you can get those guys later on. Now, in a casual league, how many guys are going to be drafting a quarterback and a backup?
A lot.
So if you decide to wait, then you're really starting to look at the shit pile. Like, you're starting to get down, towards the bottom if you wait.
But this is the shit pile. Because these guys are the 21 and 22.
Right.
So I'm fine with it. Because that means that more running backs and wide receivers are falling. And I'm okay with it. Now, in what you said, in the industry league, if those quarterbacks do fall, I'm kind of okay taking some of those guys. For example, Baker Mayfield fell into, the 8th round in one of my mock drafts, for example, right? And I want to have some fun, right? I drafted OBJ earlier,
stack them.
All right, let's see how this works out. Let's see what the rest of my team looks like. But at the end of the day, it's there's a little bit of an upside there, right? Obviously, taking a guy like that in the 8th round. If someone can throw 37 touchdowns, hey, I'll take that in the 8th round, depending on what my other options are.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm going late.
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of, go late. And what's funny is, as much as, what's crazy, too, is I feel like people are going to be off Jameis Winston. And, I'm the Jameis Winston, fan club, leader. You know what I mean? And I just think that there's, this public perception out there, which I guess is warranted, because of, what he's done. But, people think that he's shitty. And I'm going to let people think he's shitty and still take my shot on him, too. But,
his numbers are definitely shitty.
Yeah, but for fantasy, he produces. Because if he would have extrapolate his stats, I think over what he did last year, it would have been well over 4,000 yards.
Yeah, last year was definitely a ridiculous year for both of these guys. But I think it's funny. I actually think that the pass numbers go down with Bruce Arians.
Oh,
compared to Dirk Cutter and
because he actually runs the ball.
And what's his name? The OC that went to Cleveland.
Dirk.
I don't know why.
Oh, and Todd Monken.
Todd Monken, exactly. The guy who's supposed to be the Jets head coach. Yeah.
Would you have wanted him?
I thought that they were just super pass heavy.
Yeah.
Last year. And the problem with Jameis Winston is he has all these these good receivers, but he just hasn't really reached that ceiling with them. So we'll see. Hopefully Bruce Arians can get him right and kind of get those interceptions down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I just, you know what? I just don't. I just believe that coaching is a lot. And I feel like, like when he had Carson Palmer, Bruce Arians, Carson Palmer was like considered like done, right? Like at that point, he had just left the Raiders. It's like, most of the time you don't get a second team after you go to the Raiders, but
what's it's funny. Jameis Winston was one of the guys I was looking at, like as a late round quarterback.
Yeah.
He rose to the 10th round.
That's
so
too high.
He rose to the 10th. I'm just like,
Would you rather get? You can get like who do we say we can get there? Like Robbie and them.
No, 10th round you can get Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel, man. Where do you find out that I've been stalking you, buddy? I watch your film all the time. I just like, oh my God, look at this guy with the ball in his hands. All right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. I definitely do. You know what? Now you're making me scared about Jameis now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you would be drafting him like that anyway. I mean, there are a lot of guys going around him like that I think you like.
Yeah.
Like at wide receiver.
Yeah.
And maybe the running back. And even tight end.
Right.
If you're considering guys like Austin Hooper and stuff like that,
Yeah, definitely. But I got him as my quarterback too in my Superflex league, so I feel it's Rodgers and him. I should be all right with that. All right, but overvalued. Anybody else that you have?
Overvalued, yeah, N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, thank you. Now speak on it. I'm just gonna let you talk. Right.
Okay, well, he's going 906, right?
So what the hell?
Listen, 906 is around that spot where you're like, all right, let me take a flyer. If maybe not a flyer, but like let me take a guy who might have some upside. The problem is there's just not that much upside, with Harry. Like rookie wide receivers, you already kind of have to look at rookie wide receivers and say, all right, this entire class, not too much upside, right? N'Keal Harry's probably one of the best. Him, Debo, there's just a handful of guys that are pretty good coming out this draft.
Or that'll be fantasy relevant immediately.
Right. The Patriots wide receiver core, like that system is not an easy system. It's a complicated system. Like it took Josh Gordon a while to consume that system. Not to mention Josh Gordon might come back this year.
Yes,
it's
please.
Possible.
Yes, please.
No. Gronk might come back this year. That's possible.
Yeah, 40% chance. My Florio gave 40% that Gronk will come back.
Whenever broadcaster says 40% chance of raining, it never does, right? So
yeah. Well, look, it's blasting rain now. Well,
it was 100% though.
But yeah, and Tom Brady spreads the ball around, right? Like you said, to the running backs, he still has Julian Edelman there, and there's no guarantee that he's going to make another wide receiver relevant. When was the last time that happened? Right? It was basically Edelman, Josh Gordon, and before that, like Randy Moss and who? Who was there with Randy Moss? Was it him and Edelman? Him and Walker?
It was Welker was there. Welker was there, so it was Welker.
Him and Walker, right? And that's a very different case right there. So, I just can't see it with N'Keal. I think there's a lot more upside going around him, like Marvin Jones, even Corey Davis, D.D. Westbrook, MVS, DK Metcalf. I'll take over him, honestly. Golden Tate, I'll take over him. Kiki QT, Curtis Samuel. Like I could just keep going.
Yeah, honestly, and I'm glad that you brought up DK Metcalf because there's a guy that I've been like looking at, and I mean it's only because I'm starting to try to look at. All right, so what's the definition of a sleeper? It's not a guy that you'll take in like the first 10 rounds, right? You would say like that's not really a sleeper.
I would say outperforming their ADP by a couple rounds.
Okay, all right.
Like for example, Allen Robinson can be a sleeper. Because literally people are sleeping on him, but he's going in the 7th round, right?
Right.
But if he performs like a high-end wide receiver too, right, that's a sleeper.
Yeah. Okay. So a guy that I think, all right. So then I'm going deep sleeper because do we know who's gonna start opposite Tyler Lockett? Because I'm not sure it's DK Metcalf.
Yeah, you're right. You might be right. It might be David Moore.
I think it is David Moore, and I think that they're gonna use DK Metcalf in his first year situationally. And I think that what we saw with David Moore a little bit of, and when I started looking back, was a guy who is a big guy in the red zone, runs good routes. He's not bad, honestly, man. And, I understand that there's not a lot of targets to go around, but how many more targets do we suspect Tyler Lockett to get if he's going to be the Doug Baldwin role? And then you're talking about the 70 targets that he got behind Doug Baldwin because Doug Baldwin still led in targets last year somehow, right? Was it, or was it catches?
It's interesting to say about what you say about that because even though they're in a run-heavy offense, they actually I think have the second or third most vacated targets
right
in the league.
Right.
Which was when you think about it, it's wait, who left? It was just Baldwin, but there's actually have been a bunch of targets that that are like unaccounted for going into this year from last year.
Mm-hmm. So when I say,
When I saw that, I was like, what? Like,
yeah,
it hardly makes any sense, but I guess it's just true. It's just numbers.
it's gonna be somebody. And look, we saw DK Metcalf, and listen, I will not talk bad about DK Metcalf because if he somehow found me, he would probably destroy me, rip me in half. But I don't know. David Moore, like, is somebody who, like, I mean, I don't think you have to draft him in your casual leagues, but keep your eye on week 1. If he pops, go get him.
Like, if he plays, like, at 405 on that Sunday, you know, you could just drop your last bench player.
In Yahoo, that's it.
Pick him up.
Yeah, but I would keep my eye on David Moore because he's going to see, I think he's going to see the snaps. If I had to say anybody's going to actually start, it's probably him. I'm gonna play my flag and say that he's gonna start. It's gonna be him and Lockett. If Lockett slides into that Baldwin role, then we'll see DK outside.
I got you. So 2 wide receiver sets. You're talking Lockett and Moore.
Yep.
And 3 wide receiver sets. You bump Lockett inside, and you have DK on outside.
I think that's what they're gonna do because I'm not really worried about Will Disley or Nick Vannett.
That makes a lot of sense because, you know, DK Metcalf, like, you know, he has one route, right? Like,
right now he does.
I mean, it's going to take a while for him to kind of develop that route tree. So if he's not going to be like a guy who is versattle, then why not just put him in situationally?
Here's what I think we should do because we're already at an hour 10. Because you're right, Faraz. Let's just keep talking about these guys and we'll do the NFC East preview another day, huh?
Fine.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because we're already at 110 and we're already getting into good conversations. And I'm starting to, like, I mean, we probably should have done like a sleepers episode or something like that. But like when I'm starting to think about like people that I want to like target and keep my eyes on because I don't really have to draft them in dynasty leagues. I bet you if David Moore's somehow on your waiver wire, please scoop him up and put him on your team. Like that's free. You know, like even if nothing happens, who cares? I'm sure there's some trash running back you got.
There's a void in opportunity. So
yeah.
wherever there is, and if you think there's somebody talented, you know, you should kind of like look at that in advance. And
Russell Wilson's a very good quarterback. Exactly. Yeah. So overvalued. I've got somebody. Josh Jacobs. Now the reason that I feel like he's a little bit overvalued is a few things. One, I am not high on the Oakland Raiders as an organization, in coaching, in talent. I mean, I can keep going, you know what I mean? That's fine, you know, but it's really more that I've never seen Josh Jacobs do anything like the what people are expecting him to do. So what are people expecting from him? Because he's going pretty high. He's going ahead of David Montgomery, which I will tell you right now, I just had the chance to do, and I didn't do, and I picked David Montgomery.
I mean, that's probably a smart move. I mean, he has a chance to actually be the 3-down back in that offense. And Josh Jacobs, most likely just going to play early downs.
Right.
That's going to be where he's at, because they had Jalen Richard there.
See, the worst part is I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but the worst part is Jacobs can catch the ball.
Yeah, he can, and that can potentially keep his floor a little bit high. Like if he catches 2-3 balls a game on early downs, because it's not like Derek Carr isn't going to throw the ball to the running backs on early downs. He loves throwing the ball to running backs.
No, I mean, and trust me, that line is not as good as they think it is. And so he's going to have to get rid of the ball fast. So I feel like things like that are going to happen. But we've never seen Jacobs handle a workhorse role or like 15, 17, 19 touches at the NFL level. Like,
I do think he's going to get it, though.
Yeah, he is going to get it. He is.
I think John Gruden is going to like want to do that. The problem is, like, are the Raiders going to be in enough positive game scripts or neutral game scripts to be able to like give him that type of work? That's the question.
Who did they just add?
AB.
I don't know.
What does he want?
Targets.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
This has a chance to, like, this whole situation, like, can go left really fast. I'm not saying that Josh Jacobs is like a do not draft, but again, I just had that decision between Montgomery and him, and I 100% just made that, and I would do it again. Like, you know, and there's a lot of guys that I would probably, you know, make sure that I had before him. Like, even Melvin Gordon right now, which we didn't even talk about. Like, what the hell's going to happen with that? But, like, even Melvin Gordon, come on.
With the contract
Yeah.
situation? Well, I kind of disagree with you, though, with the whole Josh Jacobs.
Go ahead.
I kind of like him. I'm high on him, you know?
Okay.
I'm one of those guys. You think he's overvalued, right?
No, a little bit. I just feel like when I see rookie guys, like, you know, like, but you're right, though, because, the draft investment, you know, and most of those guys usually just walk into touches. They don't bring those guys in to, like, you know, barely keep them on.
Not to do anything, to look pretty. No.
Right. But Faraz brought up Jalen Richard, and Doug Martin's back. And last year, like, Doug Martin was still at least getting 6 to 8 touches or whatever. So that's going to, like, Josh Jacobs isn't going to be in, like, this, like, so what do we see, 15, 17?
I would say more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
I think, so I put out a post about this. Like, John Gruden's, I looked at all of John Gruden's RB1s over his entire career, and all of them were on pace for 300 touches.
Okay.
Now, a lot of them got hurt. There were a couple of guys who didn't get hurt, was able to play a full season. There was an example of a rookie getting more than 300 touches. Marshawn Lynch was on pace for like 280 touches last year.
He was.
Before he got hurt.
I knew that, yeah.
But, he was touchdown dependent, and that's kind of potentially going to be the issue, with Josh Jacobs as well. He might not be as efficient, which can be a problem if he's not getting a lot of touches, and then he'll end up being touchdown dependent. So, not really feeling that. That's part of the reason why I'm not so high on Nick Chubb, even though he's a great talent. He's potentially touchdown dependent as well.
Okay. So, like, as far as, like, the way he's ranked, too, Josh Jacobs, let me see. I'm trying to pull it up real quick. Let me see where he's at. So, Josh Jacobs is going, goodness, I can't find him. All right. Like, Mark Ingram's range, Phillip Lindsay, Kenyon Drake, Chris Carson. I told you Chris Carson's undervalued, so, I mean, I guess if I had to make that decision, I still think that I would rather have Chris Carson than Josh Jacobs.
You can wait around.
Yeah, I would. I would, honestly. At least in that range right there. You know what's
in early fourth round, there's some good wide receivers there.
Lindsay or Jacobs?
Lindsay. No.
Really?
Jacobs. No, I have to take that back.
Yeah.
I have to take that back. That's Jacobs. That's
Jacobs.
Jacobs. Yeah, I thought about that. Because that's definitely 50-50 a split, the Broncos. That's 100% going to happen this year. Cooper Kupp, I'd rather have probably over Jacobs.
I can see that.
It's way too much upside there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if, like, Kupp comes out and just balls out, like, Goff's going to be great, too. And maybe people are, like, sleeping on Goff.
I don't.
Yeah, you definitely don't. If anybody loves Goff and Trubisky, like, those two guys in that game, like, remember we talked about that? That was that game that was, like, 9-3. It was, like, the worst fantasy game. Nobody got any points in that game.
Jared Goff or Jameis Winston, like, right at the 9-10 turn. Like, are you going Winston?
Ooh, Winston or Goff?
Golf.
Yeah, man.
Golf.
Oh, my God.
Give me golf.
You going Winston?
I'm going Winston.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
That's close, though, man.
It is close.
I think it's close. I like golf because he's got.
Goff has
weapons.
more upside, though. I mean, just they're better offense. Like, what the hell, man?
Better offense, better system.
Yeah. And then if Kupp's there balling, he's probably going to play better. Screw you guys. I'm still going to pick Jameis, whatever. I want to be right. What if this is the year? What if Jameis breaks out finally and they, like, give him an ass ton of money, yo? I think the guy's talented. He's just a knucklehead.
You know what's funny?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
There are a lot of guys that, like, I like, and then when you say you don't like them, like, I'm just like, all right, yeah, like, I'm trying to argue with myself all the time. Like, I find myself arguing with myself. Like, even though I might think a guy's good, like, I'll argue, like, your points to me, and I'll be like, no, I don't like him anymore. Like, I actually, like, might like his ADP, or I might like him as a player or whatever. It's just like, you gotta account for everything, right? You gotta account for the positives, for the negatives, all of that. Like, even if you like or don't like a player.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, that's true. I just, again, and then I'm get excited about his weapons around him. I get excited because of Arians and everything. And like I said, just like, you don't really have to be a good real quarterback to produce for me in fantasy. I know you're going to get a shit ton of opportunity because that Bucs defense is going to be atrocious again. Like, I mean, it all lines up. And I think that also the one thing that everybody's afraid of, they shouldn't be afraid of him getting pulled. Because that's not going to happen for Blaine Gabbert. Like, Arians didn't come here thinking that Blaine Gabbert was going to unseat. He came here to say, you know what? We're going to give Jameis a year. If he balls out, he's my guy. He actually tried to see what's up with him, so.
That's true.
But whatever. I don't care. I'm going to die on this hill. And, I mean, the people out there argue with me about Mariota and Jameis, and I don't even think that's fucking close because I don't really think too much of Marcus Mariota. But, yeah, that's an argument for another day. Do you have anybody else that you're thinking is overvalued or?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
But now, his ADP actually calmed down a little bit. Because now he's going after Damian Williams, after Todd Gurley.
I probably would rather have both of those guys at this point, I think, too, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one's tough, though, Williams and Chubb for me. God.
Well, it's Williams. That's easy for me, honestly. In standard leagues, I would think
Damian?
about Chubb.
Yeah, Damian or Chubb.
Chubb.
In PPR, I'm going Williams.
Chubb. Okay, Elvis. Well, PPR because, yeah, he doesn't catch passes, Chubb. That's the problem. I agree on that.
PPR,
yeah.
okay, yeah. I can see that.
Half, I think it'd be
He's
closer.
very capable. Like,
No, he
he's
can.
a 3 down, every down role. Like, he's very capable. And I wish he had that role, but it sucks that, like, he kind of has to share that passing down role. Or not share it, but, like, he has to give it up to Duke Johnson.
Right.
But Leonard Fournette, like, I'd rather have Fournette.
Oh, yeah.
Chubb.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The upside is massive with Fournette, man. Like,
It really is.
Like, but the problem is, it's just, like if I have, and you, I'm not telling everybody the strategy, but if I have Fournette in your redraft league, I'm getting Raquel Armstead.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. And, like, he's the guy who can get fed.
Yeah.
Too. Like, no problem.
Yep.
Like, because I can
It's not out for blue.
easily. Yeah, it's not. And he can handle a big workload.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I mean, I would have to handcuff him. Like, I wouldn't even tell people to handcuff, like, because then I feel like you're wasting a roster spot when you can get somebody who can counteract the points, like if they're, better at their position. But I would definitely recommend if you're getting Leonard Fournette to make sure that you get Armstead. Like, I'm not gonna even like play around with that.
A guy I have like undervalued right now is Adrian Peterson. He's going in the 9th round right now.
Uh-huh.
Late 9th.
Uh-huh.
And I'm talking non-PPR right here.
Of course.
If you're in a PPR league, I can understand why you don't want like Adrian Peterson because he can potentially be sharing early down roles with Darius Geis. Then you have Chris Thompson on passing down. So it's like potentially a 3 backfield. You kind of want to stay away from that usually, but it's possible that Darius Geis's symptoms don't go away.
Right.
He had an infection in his recovery.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah, that was earlier, right? That was the same thing that Alex Smith had, right?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Is there like a bug in the locker?
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, so remind me to never get injured in Washington, D.C.
It's crazy, man. Like, it's unbelievable. I think you said it, right? Jamison Crowder going to the Jets. He's going to be healthy now?
Yes. He's going to be fine. He'll be fine. Yeah, he's going to watch. Jameson Crowder's going to play 16 games. He's going to catch 75, 80 balls. And just, yeah, exactly.
100% of snaps.
100%, yeah, like he's going to miss no games, no practices, nothing either. Like, they're not going to rest him for anything. No. No, that's scary, though, honestly. Yeah, go ahead, though.
No, yeah. But I think, like, he could potentially be the lead back in this offense, and Darius Geis might not have a huge role. It's possible. Just because he's now all the way back from his injury. So that's kind of what I'm kind of looking out for. And he's somebody that he's either going to retire, or he's going to actually play some meaningful snaps. Because you saw what happened in New Orleans. Like, he wasn't the guy, and they're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And they did. They traded his ass. And then he was a workhorse in Arizona.
That was fast. Yeah, too, right?
That can happen here. He re-signed for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see like what his role is.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad take at all, honestly. Like, and I was kind of thinking the same thing about Chris Thompson. Like, are people sleeping on Chris Thompson also? Like, can you get him, like, like later on? Like, people forget about him, and if he's healthy.
He's going in the end of the 13th round. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, like as a guy who is like, fuck it, you just throw him on your bench and see what happens. If he balls out, boom, that's your flex.
He has, in this system, like, man, that's killer right there.
Yeah.
Like, he could be a high, like, on some real shit, like, he could be a high-end RB2 in PPR leagues if things go right.
Right.
I have a question for the two of you guys.
Cool.
Give me one player each that could win you a championship that nobody's talking about.
Jesus, a league winner? That's too hard right now. Like, all these guys that we're talking about.
No, it could be anybody. Like, last year, nobody ever talked about Chubb, and he won me a championship.
Well, I mean, all right.
So if there was a guy out there that you're like, okay, I'm going to...
Faraz, you want to go first?
Sure. Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, see? All right, that's not bad.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's just nobody's talking about him because everybody's talking about Henderson.
Right.
Yeah, and he could be the guy who's getting most of those snaps if it really were to go down.
Yeah, honestly.
And he might be the one who is, like, on the waiver wire. Like,
Yeah,
Henderson
right.
can be on people's rosters, right? Like, but Malcolm Brown is like that pickup.
Yeah.
All right, so
I like that.
It
I
doesn't
really
have to
like
be
that.
win me a championship, but somebody that's like gonna wow everybody,
Or somebody who'll be like an RB1 out of nowhere. Like,
right.
you
That's what I'm
remember
saying.
it was
That's
like
the-
James Conner?
that's
sort
gonna
of?
wow you. Like, oh my god,
Okay.
this guy's breakout year or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't want to say my guy Curtis Samuel because that doesn't work because he's still drafted too high. Like, that's a good one.
Like Justice Hill. right?
Justice Hill, holy shit, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Oh my
it
god,
does.
honestly, I mean, you know what? I would recommend people pick up Raquel Armstead at the end of their draft, like for nothing, like even if you don't have Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, you want to pick up like handcuffs to guys who get hurt.
Exactly.
So like
Carlos Hyde.
Like even though Fournette is an injury risk at the early third round, like I still think it's undervalued. I'm taking a risk there, but I'm going for that upside. But at the same time, I'm not going to deny the fact that he could get hurt because that's his history. So go with those guys.
Yeah, I agree. It's always good to have like one of those guys too, especially the guys that you know who are gonna step right into work.
Exactly.
Damn it, Elvis! So you and your crazy questions that we didn't go over in pre-show at all.
But that's why I gotta throw it out there. It's a curveball. It's a curveball.
It is a
you don't see
curveball.
it coming.
Yeah, I'm a fastball hitter. I don't hit those. I just
fastball,
watched that one.
curveball,
That one just hit me, and I'm like strike three. I just walk back to the dugout. Like yeah.
Every once in a while, I come up with something good. I thought
Nice
that was
job.
all right.
That was really, really, really good.
You suck.
I do suck. And I'm pretty trash. No, you know what? All right, fuck it. I'm gonna make a crazy one. Somebody that it's a tight end one. A guy that's gonna be a tight end one is Mark Andrews this year.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But like, I'm not talking about like a top 12 because that's all he has to be, and that's really not hard, honestly. I'm talking about like he's gonna be like a top 7 guy. God, I don't know. I wanted to go 5, but I'm not gonna get that bold.
That's fine. It's July 18th or 17th, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that if he's gonna throw to anybody, it's not gonna be any of those receivers. It's gonna be Mark Andrews and. Greg Roman's offense, like you posted about it with Ingram. I have a very bitter and what is it like? I don't know if it's vivid. It's bitter. It's definitely bitter. Remembrance of his offense with us. Just because there's times where he would look like when we were running the ball, we could crush the world, you know, and then like he would just get into these funks in the play calling where it would get stagnant and they would just like get into the red zone and he would like, I don't want to talk about the Super Bowl because that's different. That's, you know, whatever. That's not it. But I'm just saying there would be times before that. We all could have seen that coming with Greg Roman if you just paid attention a little bit because he had done that plenty of times. We always led the league in field goals because we could never convert in the red zone. So that's the, you know, like and you know, Colin Kaepernick at that time was a much better passer than fucking Lamar Jackson was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. But yeah, I think somebody's gonna get the ball, and if you notice, you know, Cap used to really throw to like Davis, honestly, a lot, and I think that like Andrews kind of has that ability. So I mean, I would say Mark Andrews there. That's my. You
know what's crazy about Vernon Davis? Like I always felt like he always deserved like a shot at like a lead tight end role.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know what happened to him. Like whenever he gets the ball, I feel like he looks like a beast.
even still, right?
Right. Yeah.
He's still in the league.
He looks like LeBron James.
Reed went down, like 2 years ago. Like he would just come in and just like kill it. I'm like, why isn't he starting? Like,
Well, Reed, may get hurt, so.
May?
well, it's funny. Like,
I don't want to put that on him. I like him as a player.
Yeah, but he's gonna get hurt.
RB19 is Jack Doyle. RB20 is Mark Andrews, and RB21. I'm sorry, tight end.
Yeah.
19, 20, 21 are Jack Doyle, Mark Andrews, and Jordan Reed.
Wow, I would love to have any of those guys, honestly, and I would rather have Mark Andrews third on that list.
Right. That's interesting.
I would have Doyle and Reed actually. I think I'm gonna go back because if Reed really does well for this year, I'll really be happy for him. But it'll feel good because the year that he popped, I picked him up, and then you know I've drafted him in years that he's played well, but he just never plays 16 games. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
Yeah, remember when he punched that guy like with the helmet on? I was like, during the semifinals, it was that year that he tried to punch and he got ejected. I lost. I had Cousins and him. Like pretty much that Sunday night game was like the end of it or whatever. Yeah, I was like, oh god. All right, overvalued, and you're gonna kill me for this one. I just look at the guys that are going around him. Is Calvin Ridley. It's just the guys that are going around him, honestly, like that or not going around him. Like when I look at the people that they have ranked around him. That it gets a little weird for me, at least in some points when I was looking. Like right now, like you know, ECR has him over Allen Robinson. That's a no-brainer to me. Like that's the weird one. Like that's what made me think of Allen Robinson, like a wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 2 in an offense.
Right.
You know, then
Allen Robinson is going like 3 rounds after him, which is crazy.
So that's his. I mean, that just means the public's not on him. Like you're gonna be able to like steal him late.
Right.
Like that's crazy. I don't see how that's possible. And then like the people that are ranked close to him in ECR is like Mike Williams and Robbie Anderson and Tyler Boyd. Like Tyler. Like,
they're all going after him.
Right. They're all going after Calvin Ridley, and I that's what I mean by overvalued. I'm not trying to diminish him in any way because they're going to throw the fuck out of the ball next year. There's going to be plenty of targets to go around for everybody. But it's like, all right, if you're asking me who I would rather have of those guys, I'm not sure. I'm not talking about Calvin Ridley there.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I'm going to put up a post soon about Calvin Ridley and like how rookie wide receivers have finished. If they finish as a wide receiver 2 or better. Which wide receivers have done that before in their career as rookies, and who are those guys, and what have they done the following season? And the list is pretty interesting.
I'm sure it's probably like Randy Moss and like
it's like it's legit.
Yeah,
it's a legit list. So
save it. Just make sure you just. I'm gonna comment on this. So
yeah, well, I haven't put it together yet, but I had the data. It's interesting, definitely. I mean, so he's one of those guys that. And you nailed it, right? I think like where people love his talent and people love what he did last year, and a lot of people think he can take a step forward this year.
That's not wrong though. Like that's not wrong either.
Exactly, it's not. But like you said, like, would you rather have Robert Woods? Like I might.
Yes. Yes. He's the number 1 receiver there somehow.
Yeah.
I love Robert Woods.
It's a crapshoot there.
With him and Cooks.
Between him and Ridley.
Oh, between Woods and Ridley.
Between Godwin and Ridley.
Godwin and Ridley, that is a crapshoot. So you're banking on you're banking on something that you haven't seen sustained. And at least I've seen Calvin Ridley go a season,
Yeah, if I think, because Tyler Boyd, like the next receiver that I really want is Tyler Boyd.
Yeah.
And like Calvin Ridley is 4'12", Tyler Boyd's 6'5". So it's like between that, you have Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, Lockett, Landry, DJ Moore, Mike Williams, and then Tyler Boyd. So you could be fine taking Ridley in the 4th, get a running back or something.
And still get those guys.
And still get Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, and the 3 receiver leave, I guess it wouldn't be bad to have Calvin Ridley as your 3rd receiver because every week he gives you that upside of he can go off.
I think he might have some consistency. It's possible that it's not more about the touchdown, but it's more about that extra targets and receptions.
Right. Well, I don't know. I have a funny feeling about Robert Woods again. Like I think that he can continue it. Like he's just been great.
I do hear you about it though. Like end of 4th round for a guy, it's tough. It's a tough price to pay.
Yeah, and then I don't know, like the Godwin thing. Like I was on the train. Like I drafted him at the end of my draft last year or whatever, and I was fine holding him for a little bit. I wound up dropping him when his playtime diminished because Adam Humphries was there.
Right. He's a good receiver.
He is. He really is. Like I think I'm in love with the talent more than I am like what it could be. Honestly, this could blow up. Like Jameis could be like terrible next year. Like it's not. Even as much as I like him as a player, you still have to like factor in all that stuff. Plus, I suspect that like even though like we talked about it, like Bruce Arians has never used a tight end or anything like that. Like you've never had OJ Howard, and I really feel like OJ Howard is going to be really really good this year. Like he's going to break out into the scene to the point where next year you're going to have to talk about like, oh, are we talking about OJ Howard and Kelsey?
And we know the Jameis Winston loves his tight ends.
He does, and that's gonna always. And then he's just a walking mismatch, man. Like you cannot cover this man. He's too big. He's too fast. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I can totally see them playing like 3 wide, and then having tight end him come out in the slot and basically be 4 wide.
That's it. It's a wrap out there. Honestly, you want to put a linebacker on him or whatever? Good night.
Even a slot corner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he's too little. He's not gonna be able to do nothing with that. Like even if it's Chris Harris, I'll still take my shots. Like throw it up.
I know, right? Yeah, it's hilarious.
But yeah, do I have one more? I think. Oh, so I said Calvin Ridley. You got one more?
I don't have any more.
You don't have any more. I don't have any more. I have one, but I think it's gonna like divide us.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Oh, so that's even better.
All right.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Marlon Mack.
Oof. Wait.
Over.
I was gonna say over.
Yeah, especially in PPR.
Right.
He doesn't catch passes.
He doesn't.
Like I look back, like I don't know why I had this reputation with him. Like I guess in my mind of like a pass catcher, but then like I was like looking back and I'm looking through because you find yourself struggling. He's in that tier with Aaron Jones and Leonard Fournette and those guys or whatever, and. Like I think Mac's a great player. Like I'm not trying to diminish him in that way. But like when you're talking about capping your upside with no catches, I think there was like I have to try to remember this. It was like one maybe game with like 2 catches.
Right. Right. No, he hasn't been involved at all.
Right, like at all. And the thing is, Nyheim Hines is good.
The only reason why he's going so high is because he's on the Colts offense.
Right, and we've never even seen Mac do it all in the season. Now, look, last year I was banging the Matt drum. Like I was telling people, like if he's sitting on your waiver wire, I don't care if he's not playing this week. You need to have him on your bench, like getting ready to go or whatever. Like that can't happen. And then he played well when he got the opportunity, and he got a lot of rushes. He got like 20-25. So I'm not trying to pull that back.
The defense is young, like they can actually, and that offense is really good, so they can stay in positive game scripts like all season long.
Right. So I guess maybe I just talked myself back into it, but I mean it's like when you're talking about like Aaron Jones and Leonard Fournette, I just feel like I'm gonna take my shot on those guys. I think over him.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally can see that because Aaron Jones is much more involved in the passing game, and we know that LaFleur is gonna give them more targets, and Fournette's a 3-down guy, so I agree.
Still rather have Mac over Henry though.
But let me ask you a question: in standard leagues, who would you rather have? You still rather have Aaron Jones over Mac?
Ah, man. See, you're right. I got to get out of this mind frame of like I love this guy's talent or whatever, and like really just break it down and like.
Well, at the same time though, like me personally, I also only play in PPR leagues. So like.
I don't play in any standard leagues, right? Either, right?
I don't even know why I ask. It's just more like
Somebody does.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody does.
No, I did I play in one last year? I did, and James White was on their waiver wire, like, and I was just like, well, like, matter of fact, I took over the team after like week 5, and I'm like, all right, who the hell does this guy have? And I'm like, James White's on the waiver wire. I was like, oh, I'm adding him. That's easy. And I was like, every week it would be like 18, 21. I'm like, oh, this is easy, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm good on standard. Like, it's just it. Like what I'm really on, like my kick right now is I wanna be in a lot of super flex leagues. I think that the strategy is like very interesting, just because quarterbacks are devalued in single quarterback leagues. Like
100%, man. I love 2 QB leagues, and plus like you want to try to get as many, like if there's a bunch of playable guys in your waiver wire, like or your bench, like you got to put them in your lineup somehow, right? Like there's 32 quarterbacks who are starting every single week, but only 12 of them are going to start. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Start 24 of them instead and have a few of them, like, on the benches and available and all that. So, by the way, I do have an undervalued guy.
Go ahead.
I just remembered. Latavius Murray.
Yeah, easily.
He's going at the end of the 7th.
I love it.
Like, they always had, like, the other guy always has a role, right? There's a pass-catching guy. There's, like, an early down, like, plotter type of guy, like who can get can get like those goal line touches. And Latavius Murray has proved that he is one of the best running backs in the league in short yardage and goal line situations. So he will be the guy there, and they can score a lot of touchdowns there. So I think he can easily get close to 15 touches a game in New Orleans, and that means a lot in that offense.
Yeah, I mean, he's just stepping into such a beautiful role, honestly, man. Like, and they have a great line. They're going to be in all the good game scripts. Like, it just makes too much sense, man. He has less tread on the tires than Ingram. Look, I don't really think much, more of like I feel like Ingram's a better player all around but Latavius Murray could do more with this role because he has like a nose for the end zone, like it's possible. Like, I see it. And I feel like if we're talking about people that I could play weekly in flex positions, like, especially in games on the road when they're going to be pounding people into the ground, like, yeah, I agree 100%. And defense is legit, too, man. Like, the Saints legit should have won the last 2 Super Bowls. Like,
100%.
Yeah. It's so how do you lose on the craziest plays every year, man? Like, Breeze should be polishing off 3 rings right now. Like, that's so crazy, and we're never gonna remember that. And it also was like getting us to like when people were talking in our group chat about like, oh, this guy's only won 1 chip and 0 chips. I'm like, listen, man, you need to stop defining people like on how great they are by how many chips they've won. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot that goes into winning championships. It's not just one person.
Right. So I got a stat for you.
Got it.
Since 2011, the Saints' backfield has ranked number 1 in PPR fantasy points 6 times.
Yeah.
So that's 9 seasons. And 6 out of those 9, they were number 1 in PPR fantasy points. And 7 of those seasons was without Alvin Kamara.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
They had Reggie Bush. They had Deuce McAllister. They had other guys, Pierre Thomas. They had Darren Sproles.
Yep.
There were other guys there playing that role.
Yep. I mean, it's Sean Payton. It's the coaching. It's the line. The line is great too. Like they have a top 5 line, and and it's also helps that you have like the most accurate quarterback in like the history of the game. Like
100%.
Yeah. I mean, can't say it any better than that. You always come up with these crazy ass. That's what I need. I need those like show stopping stats. Like,
I hate when people do that.
Why is that?
Well, sometimes they don't mean shit. Sometimes it's like, oh.
It's cherry picked, is what they say.
Right. Sometimes they don't mean anything. They just like to say cool shit. I don't like to say cool things. I just thought that's actually relevant.
No, it is. It is because it's history. It's history.
Because, yeah, and it's like, this is important. Like, just remember, like, Kamara, he was the RB8 after Mark Ingram came back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we have to understand that there are roles in this system.
Yeah.
And Kamara just might not be that guy that we think he is this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, man, I mean, what is it? Hour 40. Faraz, it's always great having you on, bro. Like, we always have these great discussions and everything, and I like the fact that, like, we definitely disagreed today on some stuff. That's great. Like, I like that.
I was hoping for that. I was trying extra hard to disagree with you.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, like, it's good and all, you know, like, we, you know, the Love Fest is awesome and everything, and it's just from mutual admiration about what we do.
You guys gonna stop sucking each other off?
Oh, Jesus, here we go. And what is that? Is that 3 references?
This is bad. You should have saw when you weren't even here.
Yo, man. Yo, I was like, yo, I like this guy. He's like, I like this guy. We both were liking guys at the same. I was like, yo, it worked.
You guys like guys?
Hey, listen, sometimes you like guys. I love guys sometimes on this. All right. Well, let's put a bow on it. 140, Faraz. Tell them again, you know, they should know, but tell them again where they find you at.
Yeah, at Upper Hand Fantasy on Instagram. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man, as always. Do you have anything else, bro?
Nah, man, it was a great show. I'm so happy to be back. I miss you guys.
Yeah, you know how
We
he's
have
happy
a
to be
new
back?
bro.
There's like 5 beers like lined up in front of him, like all finished.
Time out. I have some bad news, though.
What's that?
I'm leaving Monday for a week.
Yeah. So
I won't be here.
He's leaving. So next week.
But you could FaceTime me just for like 5-10 minutes while.
Like a guest speaker.
Yeah,
Like we
well,
have
I'm not
this
a guest, motherfucker.
You can do news and notes. You can pull up for
Nah,
that.
I ain't gonna be able to do all that. I'll be able to come up and say what's up and then say some bullshit.
Oh man! So yeah, follow. Oh my god! Yo, follow us on Fantasy Bros Podcast on Instagram and on Twitter, Fantasy Bros Pod. For Jay, for Faraz, peace.
Later.